And as the day dawns and the moon sets, dun dun dun. Welcome everybody to my first episode of my Spinalcraft Let's Play series. Been on the server since the map was reset, even before the map being reset. Played with a group of folks for a long time. Decided today the day rather, to officially start up my Let's Play. Thought I'd do something new and interesting and load up the world in shaders so you could get a view of everything that's been built. There are a lot of torches around, and we are in the process of swapping out lighting. This base does not have a name yet. It's a current construction project, rather, between myself and the Tyrant, who happens to be my brother. And the two of us have been on a pretty extensive building spree recently. So much to show you. Want to go around and give you a bit of a tour, give you an idea of some projects that we have coming along the pipe. And we're going to do a little bit of before and after, because I'm fortunate enough to have been on the server since the start, so I actually have some pictures, some video of the land before the editing, before the terraforming, as it were. For instance, this river here was not here. This was non-existent. This was all a hillside. This was all a huge mountain that's been gutted. But anyway, we'll go over that. I have got an iron golem. That sneaky bastard has managed to not be in the iron golem farm. That's no good. We're going to have to kill him. First off, let's go do that. Yep, it's fine. Go ahead, knock me some more. Here we go. Alright, he's done. So like I said, let's go ahead and get started off with a little bit of a tour. The very first build that we built on this particular build site was this building right here. It's been called by many folks the Claw. Symbolic. If you look at the site rather from Dynamap, which is a plugin used to show an overhead map of the world, the top of this structure here looks like a claw. It's also going to be a throne room, something we're hoping to expand on later on. Down here we have a mine that we started. It's very simple. It just runs down to Y level 9, 12, and 14, I think, or it might be 8, 10, and 14. At any rate, it runs straight down, and then we used it to branch mine out. These tiers here are just multiple tiers. We're going to start some gardening projects on those, make those into like parks that kind of segue from one stretch to the other. Like I said, this river here, this didn't exist at all. This was all added, including this section over here. There was a small river that led around this way. It was much lower and not really fully developed. And in the process of terraforming a river in, we decided to expand on it a little bit. Of course, we got some beacons. All of our bridges here run the same sort of span motif. We have the arching way with, and it's a mild arch with some stone brick stairs rather, and some hardened clay. This monstrosity right here is our sheep farm. 16 levels. You can still see the dirt and glowstone from the bottom. That's something we've got to go back and cover. But the 16 layers, each layer, of course, having a different level, or a different color, rather, of sheep. Each of them separated. We're in the process now of making it so that you'll be able to just put the wool you harvest into a tube. It'll fire it down and collect it at the bottom. That's an addition project we're going to do to this build. We're also going to go through and add in a nice border and cover for the bottom. Sorry about the glare. The sun is not forgiving in this resource pack. Let me get out of the brightness for a second, work my way around. This over here, this project is a new project. It's one of my most recent, and it's a villager breeder. I also use it to fall down into crevices. No, really, I use it to trade with villagers as well. The building itself, I have the doors for the village over here. The building itself is surrounded by lava. This is a kill trap, which we use to kill off zombies. It does attract a lot of zombies. Inside of here, we have, in fact, let me just show you the inside of it. We have some villagers up with some babies that I'm going to push into the water. Go. Come on, you know you like it. There you go. There's one. And come on, you know you like it down there too. Okay, well, I'm going to leave him alone for now. I'll come back and get him in a little bit. At any rate, the villagers are in here. They breed based on the door mechanic with them being close enough. One of the things that was really important to me was to make sure this farm was 1.8 compatible, which we've done. In the middle underneath of this is a block of source of water, and we'll be able to go through, and I got it, we'll be able to go through and till this land and breed farmers up top here, and they'll be able to generate the villagers needed for the breeder. So we're already set up good to go for 1.8. Over here is the mechanics, so to speak. I have this rail here where I have villagers who can go through and leave, and that is better than a wood door every day of the week, and I hate iron doors. At any rate, you can see through the glass here I've got some villagers spawning. They come through the villager breeder, they get dropped down, and then they work their way into this path. I pick them up with rail carts and take them wherever I want. Or I can redirect them, have the water flow this way, and kill them in a little drop chute. There's a little drop spot right there below that sign. I can also go through on the back side of this, close that vent, and now villagers are able to come in here, go up this sorting system, and come and drop down into one of 6 windows. Right now I currently have 3 set up for these guys, the scientist sort of villager, which I'm using for paper trades and whatnot. And then I've got 3 set up for blacksmiths. These 3 blacksmiths, I've unlocked them most of the way. I have full sets of diamond gear and tools from them, which is really nice. I've also managed to get some good chainmail pieces, so I hope to be able to sell some chainmail gear, and this is all just random junk. And at any rate, let me get this back up. There we go. This right here, very fortunate, I found a slime chunk. So what I've done is I've taken more of a generic bee sort of style build for this slime farm. It is straight down to bedrock, so you can see it from above, and it has the glass. And what I have is I have a string of lights, and it's more for aesthetics. But basically a minecart runs around a rail, a powered rail, occasionally hitting some activator rails. I'm sorry, not activator, the pressure plate ones. And that causes the lights to light up within a certain range. We wanted to adorn it a little bit, so we have the waterfall flowing down to the back of it with the water border. And then over here, we have the river, again, that we made. And the water just kind of runs off the edge into the slime farm like an infinity pool. Down here, I have access, of course, to the track mechanism where it goes around. And then here is the farm itself. I don't know if you can see it through the glass. It's multiple tiers. They're all 3 blocks apart. With the half slab, it ends up being 2.5. I did that to maximize the amount of spawns. And then they come down to the bottom here. And at the bottom, they are funneled through water channels into a series of hoppers with cactus in front of them. See, again, just like a generic bee model. And wow, that water looks gorgeous. And so they funnel, they hit the cactus. The hoppers take priority over loot drops, if you didn't know this. So when they hit the cactus and the cactus kill them and the drops come out, the hoppers suck them up long before the cactus gets a chance to. And you know, even if you lose a couple, you wouldn't even notice it, to be frank. This is just from this morning, these slime balls here. I get pretty good rates on it. I am trying to stockpile now, in anticipation, of course, of 1.8. So be able to sell lots of different blocks is really my goal. Again, with the rail up here, it's just the pressure plates, and it's just running around, which is why you see the lights light up in chunks as opposed to individually. Down the road, I'm going to, oops, wrong direction. Down the road, I'm going to redo that wiring so that I can light those lights up individually. Might not be able to keep every section being a redstone lamp, but that's my hope. Sun is setting, so we're going to keep running along. This here, again, is the river we made. Cute little bridge to cut across. Oh, where I came from. Let's go back this way. Over here, we have a tree farm. The design was by the Tyrant. He has a great eye for contrast, and I thought the tree with the border here was excellent. Inside, I have a mumbo jumbo tree farm, the automatic tree farm that crushes leaves. This interior is not designed yet. It has the walls and everything, but it's not polished, so to speak. I did go through and make some changes to Mumbo's design. This initial pad right here collects the first wave of logs, then shuts down, converts these pistons over, and starts a second section of logs. Oh, nice. Has a second section of logs. So we're actually able to harvest 2 whole sections of logs at one time, which is really nice. This right here, this line feeding down, is the kill switch to the whole mechanism, so it doesn't just run willy-nilly. And what we're going to do is, it also has a separate switch right here. What we're going to do is we're going to, well, go through, remove all the soil. And if you've ever used this design, you'll notice that it has a nasty habit of spewing apples and saplings everywhere. So what we're going to do is use a series of water tunnels, or paths rather, to force all of the saplings and apples down into one collection tray, and then fire them back up into these 2 chests. The idea being is that we don't have to keep hunting them down every time we need to use them. We've got this nice little dam built over here, and we'll go behind that in a minute. And then this walkway leads across into, this used to be a mountain. We went through and took out the mountain edges itself and made it into an internal walkway. It leads back and forth from the claw in 2 separate posts, and then it also leads over to the tree farm, and then it goes back. We'll keep exploring here. But back down on the other side of these stairs, it actually goes down to the bottom ground level in front of the claw, and we have on either side a mushroom farm. You just press the button, which you might not be able to see. Press the button to harvest the mushrooms. One click will turn the water on and another off. The hope is to swap out this light with a redstone lamp so that I can tell based on the button using a T flip-flop whether or not the water is still flowing or not. And I have one for brown mushrooms and the red mushrooms. Down here, like I was saying, this is just our mine shaft, and Tyrant's very deliberate when it comes to things. This cobblestone was here, that he put in rather, but he likes us to have a theme, a design. It's not just as simple as building a mine shaft for him. He really likes to go all out. So at the bottom, you know, he has plans to expand it even further, not for mining, but simply just for the aesthetics of it. So we're going to go back upstairs here. And again, we're going to take the bridge over to the claw. The claw will more than likely be our throne room. The idea is we wanted to have 2 thrones in the back of this. And this huge area leading up to it could be the throne room of sorts. We do have some storage situation that we're working on, and it's going to be a project we post pics on. But this is it. This is our storage array. It is not going to be hooked up to hoppers as a general rule. You'll be able to come in and go down, and the stairs will wrap around. They won't just come down in the middle here. But you'll be able to go down and go along and choose any item in the game in bulk. These center sections right here that are finished, these are actually leading to a new iron farm that I'm working on building right now. We have these fountains and the water coming down in the middle, and we're going to continue to work on the design of this. We have to do the walls, the flooring, and then label all the hoppers, or the chest rather. I do not want to use item frames because of the entity lag from them being entities, so we're going to use a combination of signs and or actual blocks to label everything. This right here is our, I'll think of it in a second. it's our smeltery. It's set up, I believe, with something like 28. Let's see, 5, 9, 18, 5. So it has 26. I'm sorry. The furnace is in it. They're all fed through with lava, which I need to refill the lava. There's a lava storage solution up here that holds 6 double chests of lava buckets. They're all fed into a system. The system in the back is pretty simple. On each side there is a hopper minecart going back and forth. He picks up buckets and or finished product and offloads it. This is an etho minecart emptier. As he comes across the hopper here, if he has stuff to drop off, it will turn off the power to the cart. He'll unload his things, and then when he's done, he takes off again. There's one on each of the 3 sides. And then, like I said, there is a refueling station up here, and it'll be 6, actually I believe with this it's 7 double chest of lava buckets. So the original design has chest going up 12 high, all the way around this room. So when we go up, we're going to need to be able to access the top stuff because it's not going to be one item from floor to ceiling. It might be oak fence, spruce fence, birch fence, acacia fence, so on and so forth all the way up. So to be able to access the different layers, we have these 2 half slab walkways, and of course they're upside down half slabs, so we don't have to worry about mobs spawning on them. And they'll be going around both sides. We were going to work with glass, and we still may change it to glass, but at the moment that's where we're going. Back to the furnace room here. These are going to be the manual furnace that you just put coal in and do your thing, and you don't have to worry about wasting a whole lava bucket. On the other side here, this room, which we've started with a torch, this is going to be another project that gets videoed, and that's going to be our potion array. The hope is to set up a machine similar to Ethos, but I want to use my own design that makes any potion that you need in whatever quantity you need. So that's coming soon for there. Up here, we're temporarily harvesting nether wart. We're also temporarily harvesting mushrooms on both tiers. These actually started out as farms for the mycelium, and I decided, well, while I'm waiting on the mycelium, let me put some mushrooms on it. So I'm actually getting ready to rework that. Hello, Pooch. He doesn't have a name yet, but we're working on it. It's coming. That's what she said. Moving on. Across the other side of the claw here, we have a small bridge, and we have a double breeding system. I don't really care for the really tiny, cramped breeding farms for cow and or pig. I prefer having a pen. So what we're going to do is, this was the original one, and it's just a simple layout. Cow are down here, and you go through and breed them. And this one over here has the pigs. And what we do is they're both hooked into a system where dispensers launch water. Walls open up, and they're pushed into this tunnel. The tunnel comes down, pushes them behind this fence post here, and we harvest their goodies. There's actually a sword specifically for this chest that I'm repairing that is looting 3, unbreaking 3, and also flame, so that it cooks the meat as you kill them, which is really nice. And then we just have this small little alcove here that leads out again into another man-made river between buildings. And that's the one bridge we came across. And then you can turn the water on and off and the trap on and off from below. In fact, there's some of the wiring going along for the dispensers. And originally I had lighting up on top like this, and it was just the cow pen. And I've decided to do some more work, so there's another project coming for this. We'll talk about it when we get to it. And this is just access to the wiring for the dispensers on this side. I just haven't cleaned that up. Let's see. Beacon. And on the back of the claw here, we've got the newest project, and it is more iron farms. I have currently, and there are limitations to the rendering because of the server render limit, so that's why you can't see everything on every grid really far out. But I'm building 12 iron farms total. I have 6 on the other side over there, so I'm building the other 6 here. I've got these 3 built and completed. They are 2 of them are populated on this side. The middle one is not. And the iron from these, the golems fall down into the kill chamber here, gets fed into the middle, and then feeds into that massive storage array down there. This will be the second side of that. There's 3 of those. Over here, we have a monstrous gold farm, and I'll go over that in just a moment. And down here, with a little bit of fall damage, we have our cactus farm. This cactus farm is a pretty standard old school design of sorts. There's no fancy mechanisms. It's not lossless. I do lose quite a bit, I'm sure, but I do have 3 double chests of cactus in a very short period of time, so I'm not complaining if I lose a third of it. I have way more cactus than I reasonably need. Over here, that's the access to the iron farms there. Over here, we built in the water our gold farm. This gold farm was a huge undertaking for me. I originally, there's an op on our server, a guy named Alpheus, who has a gold farm of his own. And I believe he's working on a second one, or he's completed a second one because he has multiple bases. And so another player and myself, another mod actually, a gentleman named Gold Dragon, he and I both farmed for materials for this at the same time, and he actually helped me out a great deal with the obsidian needed for this. The farm itself, pretty standard in a design, 23 by 23 portals when possible. Starting from the inside out, they expand. There are trapdoors at the bottom of every portal in order to help ease the pigmen out, so they'll walk off the edge of the obsidian and they'll fall into the water kill trap. And I'll show you the kill trap in a second. And I apologize again for the brightness. It's the sun rendering with this shader pack. This is the kill spot for the pigmen. They will fall down. They do fall down more frequently, but I just walked over here. All of these hoppers feed down into a sorting array down here that is set up to sort by zombie flesh, gold nuggets, and miscellaneous. So down here we actually have those chests, and I apologize for some of the frame rate lag. So we've got some gold stored up, some blocks of gold, and this is just miscellaneous junk. Right here is the chest, and mostly all I get is chicken and feathers. I don't need the feathers. I save the raw chicken occasionally to trade with villagers. But I get a good deal of gold when I sit here. Sometimes I'll come up and AFK up here. I have working on, rather, a series of double chests all the way down to not to bedrock, but it will be down to the base of the water, where it'll be double chest with hoppers feeding all the way down. I'm going to have a room so that a lot of this stuff can be sorted through. The zombie flesh drop amount is unbelievable for this farm, and as a result, I tend to have way too much of it than I can actually store. So I had to come up with a storage solution that worked, and even though the clouds are in the way there, let's get them off. Really? Where are you hiding? You can tell I haven't gone through this a whole lot. There we go. Off. Okay, so the now I'm catching a bit of a fog. It must be raining. The double chests lead all the way down, and there will be a column that they get concealed in so that they store better. Up here, we have the gold farm itself. Yeah, it is definitely raining, so I do apologize for the fog. It's a great effect when you're trying to go for it, but when you're just trying to show people things, it gets in the way. So down here you can see the water trough that collects, there we go, all of the pigmen. They just funnel in through the bottom, and they get to the bottom, and of course they get fed into a chute, and the chute drops them down, and that's where they die. I do have a resting spot kind of in the middle that you can actually AFK in, and the gold continues to drop from every portal it can. You have to stay within a certain range of the portal in order for the pigmen to move around. Otherwise, they just stand still and then they despawn, and you don't want that. So in order to take full advantage of the build, you have to rest in a place in the middle. I'm going for opulence on this build. The entire structure is going to be coated in gold blocks. Just because. Yep, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. And I wonder if I can get rid of this. Not what I wanted to do. I wonder if I can get rid of the rain. Let's just turn it all off. Let's see if that helps. That does not help. That was unbelievable. Alright, well, let me figure this out and I'll be right back. Okay, well, I'm back and you can still see the fog is here. Yeah, I don't have any clue how to turn this off. I'm pretty sure it's tied into the shaders. Went through all the options and it's just on. So we're going to take the quick way down and dive in. And we'll turn the phone to silent. Here we go. So we're coming up on the back side of the claw again. We have some ethos style trees here with the glowstone. This was just done to light up these hills until we could figure out what we wanted to do. Again, we've been playing with a lot of lighting options, but we haven't really settled on anything. And thought for a second there I saw lightning rather land right next to me. So let's go through the water here. On this other side, across from the claw, this mountain here, where we did all the building. This mountain was a lot bigger than this. We decided to cap it. We do have iron farms on either side of it, and we're at night with the rain. I tell you what, I'm gonna take a quick break and come back when the rain's gone. And we're back. Finally, it only took 2 days, but the rain's gone. So anyway, back where we were. I have the 6 iron golem farms on this side in front of the claw. Right here in the middle, that's a surprise. We're just leaving that alone. You can't know, and I won't tell you. Over here, we have to the right of that, we have our nether portal. We've done some clearing. There were several mountains over here that we decided we were going to clear out. And what we've decided to do with those is turn them into a stables area. So we've built these paddocks and whatnot for horses, and we have a few horses that we picked up. But we're in the process of designing and developing a layout that we like. Everything here is a work in progress, even the stuff that's already built. Down here, of course, we have our speed beacon, and we've got a track. Eventually, we're going to go through with be able to go through and do full testing on all the horses. So one side of this track will actually be set up with a speed gauge. Then we'll have jumping hurdles for them to go through, so we can actually find out how fast they are and how high they jump. The goal the whole time being to breed as many amazing horses as possible. So this is really kind of in its infancy. We just started with this maybe a month ago, but we haven't really had a chance to progress on it too much. This land right here was where 5 mountains met, and we've decided to call it the Bowl, I believe. We went through and carried the design of the clay building across the way around into this gap. We've got the little sewer drainage port, and then it continues to wrap around the building here, or around the pond here. We're going to add another sewage point down here also to kind of mirror that one. We wanted the little drainage port there as part of like an accent piece, because right behind this area we have a man-made lake. Because there's no such thing as a project too big for us, we went through, and where the river ran along the bottom of this, we decided no, it had to be a river, or a lake rather. So we dammed up both ends, this end and the first end that I showed you near the tree farm, and we proceeded to fill it in. And you can really see it with the shaders and the light coming down. You can see just how much water that was. Last part of the base that we have so far, but this is about to get changed. We actually have 2 sugarcane farms. These are set up just on a simple pusher system, both sides. Again, I have the Etho minecart emptier at the end of each of them. And the hopper minecarts go up and down the line. They pick up all the loose sugarcane, and then they come and drop it into the chest here. These are actually going to be relocated, and we'll record that project. But for now, they're right here. We thought this is where we wanted them, and we've made some design changes, so to speak. Beacons everywhere. Very fortunate to have a Wither skeleton killing station that I built with Gold Dragon, and the 2 of us worked tirelessly on it for 3 real life days, and when we got it all set up, we used it to farm. And so I take full advantage of my share by beaconing everything. This right here, this behemoth, is all wheat. This is a 4-tiered, 4,000 wheat per harvest wheat farm. It works on a simple concept where the water starts in the middle, flows down to the outside, drops down, hits the next layer, and flows towards the middle. The water seesaws back and forth, clearing all of the wheat. It does need to be harvested by hand, which just sucks. But to the same end, to get 4,000 wheat per harvest, I think makes it worth it. There's something unbelievably awesome about being able to do 400 hay bales almost per harvest. And all of this is unfinished, but you can see where we have the harvesting coming down these water lines of hoppers. Everything feeds into a sorting array that drops down, and on either side we have wheat, and then we have seeds going down the middle. Eventually, the seeds will be set up with an overflow mechanism so that if it's not stockpiled, instead of backing up into the system and causing problems, it'll just be fired off into lava whenever necessary just to get rid of the excess. And over here, we're just starting to do some of the groundskeeping work, so to speak, around it. So we did this little jettisoned piece of ground here and put up some spruce trees. I really like the 2x2 spruce. I think they make some gorgeous trees. And then, of course, we're back around to the wood farm that's right there. This dam started in like this, and we're going to curve it around and meld it into the side of the building here. But in the process of doing that, we've got to do some backfill and kind of figure out how we want to do some layout. We've got a lot of decoration work that we want to get done. We also to polish it, you know, like these buildings and walkways here. And then lighting. Lighting is our number one opportunity. Oh, I forgot about this. This is a Precy. If you don't know him, he's from the Zip crowd. This is a Precy squid farm. He made it on his Agrarian Skies LP, and I decided I liked it so much I was going to make it here. That's the reason, too, for the lake. It hides this squid farm. Essentially, you have large columns with downward rolling water, and it pushes the squids down. They drop onto the hoppers, they die, and they drop their tasty ink sacs right into the chest. The water level of the area around this was raised up in order to prevent spawning so that we could up the spawn rates in the squid farm. And then after I went to all that trouble, over there I built the river that was low enough to spawn squid. Not very bright. Sorry. So at any rate, what we decided to do then was just keep it. We don't pay a lot of attention to it. We probably get half a stack of squid a day. But it's nice that I don't have to farm the ink sacs anymore like I did. So I think what we're going to do now is I'm going to cut away. I'm going to come back in just a moment at the nether farm. I want you guys to be able to see the wither skeleton farm that we've got going on. And I'll probably talk about a couple of things coming down the road. We are running a little long here, so I'm going to start wrapping it up. And oh my goodness, and we're back. This here is our wither skeleton farm. Lava is a little bright. That's the shader pack here. Basically, we have 3 chunks. There's 2, I'm sorry, not chunks, intersections. We have 2 intersections right here and a third one right here. If you don't know, you can only... Wither skeletons will spawn anywhere on another fortress. But they have a higher rate of dropping if they drop in a certain section of the intersections. And the more intersections you can get together, the better off you are. So we found actually a total of 5. There's 3 right here. There's 1 right there, and I'm sorry about the frame rate lag. And there's another one back there. And basically, of the 5 intersections, we decided these were the 3 we wanted to build on. We went through and just going to drop down here. Built a huge complex. There are setups. There are based off of pressure plates that cause the piston to push the mob out. The mob comes through and drops down. There we go. Mob comes through and drops down onto these plates, and you can see them right here. We have it set up on a timer so that periodically it goes through. Periodically, I'm just switching to my looting sword here, sorry. Periodically it goes through and will go through and crush any non-wither skeletons. Wither skeletons are 3 blocks high. Every other mob in the nether, you can see that blaze dying there, they are 2 blocks tall. So this crusher will crush everything else except the wither skeletons. And they'll drop down repeatedly over and over. And we can go through and as long as no one else is in the nether, because we're on a multiplayer server, and just farm wither skeletons. Now, even with a looting 3 sword, this is not foolproof. You can be in here hours and only get 3 or 4, and again, I apologize for the frame rate lag. On the other hand, you can be in here 5 minutes and get a dozen. It's really sporadic. It's not anything set in stone. It's definitely not a project for somebody who doesn't have the spare materials. It took GoldenEye, like I said, 3 days to fully build it out. We've had to make some other changes since then to make it a little bit easier on us to farm up while we're out here. You do get pretty good experience while you're out here. So what we decided to do instead was add in an enchanting table. And the enchanting table is up there so that we can make use of our experience. And I'm just waiting for this piston push to back up. Should be. There it goes. Get back here with our skeleton. Alright. So there's chains of hoppers here with half slabs. The half slabs run underneath the platform. Platform all feeds into a single chest. Oh, look, wither skull. And that's it. We have an ender chest here, so we can stockpile them if we want. And that's pretty much the bulk of this farm. There are some other mechanisms some of you might be interested in, so I'm going to show them to you real quick. Like I was saying, each of these rows has a piston system that crushes, and you can see there's some wither skeletons there. The piston system, you have to be careful because even with redstone, mobs will spawn on it, and that'll drop your spawn rates. So what we did was we went through and covered all the redstone work with half slabs as well. You can see it all coated there. We have a T flip-flop here set up so that, once I can get over this, we have a T flip-flop set up here to turn the pistons on and off. Why am I not able? Oh, that's why. Okay. And then that's hooked over here to this etho timer. You know, it's just 2 hoppers sending stuff back and forth. So this runs on a 44 item timer, in case you're wondering. And that causes the T flip-flop to activate for 44 seconds. Or not 44 seconds, but for 44 items worth of a tick at a time. 44 items is all you need to completely crush and kill blazes and pretty much everything else. So we set it up to that, and then like I said, everything just stockpiles in these hoppers. It all gets fed underneath to a system where everything is stored, and then we just collect them out of this chest. And the frame rate is really bad with this farm, especially on SMP. Sometimes you'll find that, like, I'm going to take that coal. I love that coal. Sometimes you'll find that when other players are in the nether. Now, where did he come from? He must have spawned on this doorway. He shouldn't be able to, unless he spawned on this. Did you spawn on that, you jerk? Let me find something. Here's a half slab. We'll do this. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. Okay, there we go. So at least now, I don't know if he spawned on that chest or not, but this will prevent it in the future. This chest, not tall enough, so we don't have to worry about it. So at any rate, you don't necessarily get really good rates with this farm. It is a pretty clean design. It just takes a lot, as you can tell, a lot of materials. So I'm gonna take a break, get back to the claw and wrap it up. So that pretty much sums up the whole of our base here. Going to continue to work on it. We'll provide videos periodically, kind of showing you what's going on and where we hope to be. Won't always be recording in shaders. I definitely like the look of it, especially that water over there. But it's nice to have the option to show you guys, what a more realistic world can look like. So thanks again for checking out the video. Leave a like. It helps me out tremendously. And share it with your friends. This is Exonerated signing off. Have a good day. Goodbye. Okay, so this is some flyby footage that I had found. Basically, what was going on, we were on the server running. I took a small break, came back, and I was looking for a place to build. And I don't know if you can see it, I'm panning around. But basically, what was going on is I was looking for a place to build. And this looked like something I wanted to build at. Specifically, and I'll pause the video here, specifically this mountain. The way I saw the design come up out of my head, this mountain was the inspiration for the claw. The way it overhung and kind of dipped in, but then wrapped around. And so you can see that right below the claw here on the bottom, there was no river, none whatsoever. We built that in. You can see where the water came through around in front of the claw. Across the way, you can see just how big that mountain was, where those first set of iron golem farms were on the left side. And then across the way, you can see where the cow and pig places were that we had set up. This whole area was not set up properly. It was all just like this, but this mountain was what inspired the claw itself. Let me see if I can't find some other spots. Okay, yep, here's another shot I have where you can see very clearly where the claw would be on the left. And then this huge forest here that's along the middle was the river that we built. So these are really that little bit of video that I had, and then this still shot is really all I have of the land before we had a chance to get a hold of it. But I wanted to give you the kind of like the scope of the excavation, the terraforming, the way we've handled the land specifically, so that you can see just how much work was actually put into things. So signing off for real this time. Can't wait to see your responses to the vid, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye-bye.